champion select for game number 5, the deciding match between MVP and Afreeca Freecs. MVP with the blue side, we'll see what they make of it. It's been red twice in a row for the victories that they were able to pick up.
Maokai, Rumble, and Kalista was banned against Afreeca Freecs on red side. The Cho'Gath will continue to be banned against MVP. Let's see what MVP want to do and what they want as a first pick, because they will not have the luxury of red side, which I think on 7-16 onwards is by far the strongest side, with all the kind of flattening of the power curves of the really powerful champions having last pick in the first round, and also first pick, second round, last pick. I feel like there's a natural advantage when balance is in a good place. 7-15 is the last time there might be an argument to choose blue side. Galio going to be banned away. They don't want to deal with that again. The Gnar, I imagine, is going to be overlooked, but MVP continue with the pocket bans. They do ban away Spirit Solar.
And I think if Afreeca Freecs ban the Gragas here, I think it'd be a good idea. I don't think you fear Maha's Kalista. However, they are going to, so that's going to be the final ban side of the Afreeca Freecs. Okay, Syndra being considered for first pick. Ian, of course, massive power pick and massive comfort. In a deciding game like this, it would make some sense, but the Gragas is up, guys. That needs to be picked up.
They've looked past Syndra in previous games. They were never going to draft it at first pick. Love the priority on Gragas. Some teams don't consider it a first pick or don't take a first rotation. I think that's insane. With even just the proven track record we've seen ever since the playoffs started, the value of Gragas has been very clear. Ability to just knock an AD carry out of a fight, whether you're engaging or just knocking them out so they do no damage. And this is a really high priority on Lulu, which makes you look at the draft and say, Kog'Maw's looking likely on the side of Afreeca Freecs.
Yep, setting themselves up for a Kog'Maw pick in the third round does make some sense. Wanting to make sure that they get the Lulu as well as that Kog potentially. And now MVP, they're like, okay, do we lock in the Kog'Maw now? I don't know.
I think you have to take your AD carry on this pick here. Normally you want to just pick a mid laner and then start banning mid laners, but when you see Lulu this high priority, which has happened 0 times since, I would say, spring season, you do start to wonder.
Okay.
MVP with some flash. He's got to be careful in Korea.
We've had
2 Teemo lock-ins in the past by accident.
I think one of them won though, didn't it?
No.
Oh, damn it.
It was Shy and Someday, and they both lost.
Oh, what a shame. Well, Syndra is going to be locked in. Understandable. And I did have my spiel about it. Of course, not worthy of first pick, but worthy of first round.
The best thing about where they do it is now. Do you want a lane counter to the Syndra, or do you want your AD carry of choice? Because you cannot have both. They can ban mid laners that can lane against the Syndra, or bot laners to make sense with the Lulu. And I think it has to be one of Kog'Maw or Tristana. Kog'Maw was the choice that fit the Lulu priority. Now it's a little bit more unclear, because they do go for the Tristana. Could just be rushing of the very early support itemization here. Go for the gold Baten build and try to build the fastest Ardent Sensor possible for the Tristana. Doesn't really vindicate the high the high Lulu priority, as they'll ban away the Rakan. So far, not banning any mid laners as MVP.
Okay, and now MVP, they're calling a potential Afreeca Freecs bluff here, as they're going to be banning the Alistar. Could this be, oh my god, a return to top lane Lulu?
Or mid lane Lulu? It's not fantastic.
For some reason, I just feel like it's not going to be played by Kuro. I don't know why. Although, I guess it pseudo works into the Syndra as a nullifying matchup.
It's okay. You can actually gank that lane quite well because Polymorph gets value, but you can also just die. It's not a wonderful matchup. It doesn't vindicate the very high priority from the Lulu, but I think this is just MVP going, well, this is suspicious. Going for Lulu first round out of nowhere. It's not a series adaptation. It's not like Lulu has been a dominant pick in this best of 5 or in recent patches. So it's a very suspicious Lulu draft. Waiting for the bans, they kind of straddle the line and say, we're not going to give you Tusson's Alistar, and we're also going to respect the value of the Orianna as well. So they're not 100% sure here, MVP, as we are unsure.
Yep, double shield's going to be denied as far as the command protect, but is a Karma going to be in the works? How deep are they going to go into this Kramer priority?
Those comps haven't really worked, Atlas.
They've flat out not worked, exactly.
We have not seen the value outside of one single game of Protect Tristana. So they're going to go for the Talia. So they completely abort the script. We still do not see why it is Lulu taken so early. What is focus on MVP side of things? Going for a balanced draft so far. Could be a pick comp, absolutely, with the Syndra. Could just be Sion again. Sorry, no, the Sion is banned. Let's see where ADD goes to the top lane pool. A lot of his tank top lane is unavailable.
Okay, Kled. Consideration is going to be locked in. Okay, so a little bit more of an aggressive choice from ADD. Going to take it to Marin, but I feel like it's outside of his wheelhouse. The tanks have certainly looked good on him. His Sion, of course, always fantastic, but Kled, he put a lot of time into it. We'll see whether it is going to work.
Did pick up a single game victory, 1-1 on the Kled, but not something you would necessarily associate with him too closely like you were alluding to. Support pick is going to be the Taric, so focusing on the team fight. Powerful engage with the Kled into the Taric ultimate, which makes sense. The moment that Kled casts his ult is going in, and then Taric has a more realistic understanding of when to pop the Cosmic Radiance. There's no pulling out the moment that Kled is going to be up in the charge. So let's see what Afreeca decide on, and okay, it's going to be maybe...
It happened. It's the Lulu top.
Oh, Lulu jungle.
Oh, really? That was certainly in the champion spotlight when it first came out. Pretty sure Freak was trolling that particular stage. Build a Trinity Force, hop in the jungle, kill some stuff.
It's not the worst jungler. It's still very likely to be top lane where the champions are at, but you don't think of Marin as a top lane Lulu player, really.
He was back in the day.
On a hit build, I guess you could go AP support. It's so surreal. We have to wait for 20 seconds, ladies and gentlemen, because there's an outside chance it's actually going to be a jungle Lulu. It is. It's jungle Lulu.
Okay, there we go.
So that was my first thought, because Marin's not really a Lulu-style player.
Oh, hell no.
Lulu's ganks are not terrible by any means. She has pretty reliable CC. She can kite camps as well. But what a risk to take. Coming back into the final match of a best-of-5, an elimination best-of-5. Preferred Mowgli in Game 4. He comes back in and calls jungle Lulu.
Yep. Don't worry, guys. I got this jungle Lulu. And they picked it up first round as well. Maybe this is what Spirit has in order to counter what the Gragas can do. Maybe that's what is his anti-Gragas technique.
This is a year where we have seen Jungle Jace and Jungle Lulu pulled out. Insane to see it pulled out here. We said, isn't this suspicious? MVP was like, I don't know, do we ban mid? Do we ban support? Turned out it was a jungle pick of all things. I'd love to hear an interview with this team to understand it. This is a big risk taken by Afreeca.
Yeah, and MVP's composition is one that can certainly work out. No funny business being pulled there, Afreeca. It's all on the line. It's game number 5. We've got match point on both sides. Let's do it.
Fans are super hyped. Atlas, I saw Lulu as the most played by Spirit in the past 7 days, and I said that's weird. I saw the first Lulu game, I ignored it. If you look down, Jungle Lulu has been a thing for him. Now, he's actually going kind of a Nidalee style build in that he's going for Runic Echo into, of course, prioritizing the Ardent Sensor. If you guys don't know, the current Nidalee jungle build is starting off with the Athene's Unholy Grail into Ardent Sensor for maximum heal value. The big takeaway here is that it's going to be a supportive jungler, very strong duelist early, ability to be a strong ganker with red buff and also the constant slows on Q. But again, this is very unorthodox. He maxes Q for the line quick killing of the monsters as well.
And he looks adorable with the Star Guardian Lulu skin at the same time. So things working out here. Kuro on a pick that he has found a lot of success on. We remember some of his seismic shoves landing huge value for the Afreeca Freecs on Kuro's Talia. At least a couple of MVPs have been earned by this man on the champion. Mahar and Max make it to lane a little bit late. Finally, Afreeca getting themselves some lane priority. Okay,
shield start from Kramer as well. This is something that they did versus SK Telecom in the first game of the wild card. That was on the Twitch. That was a losing lane in a pretty significant fashion. In this case, Stana has more AoE options, doesn't need AD, can just use the satchel charge if she's losing the push war, as you see Spirit kiting camps like I mentioned.
All right, and actually keeps himself very healthy there as well, but How does double Ardent Sensor work? Because you could imagine both Tucson and Spirit want to pick one up. Is that a good idea? Like, I just don't understand. Like, it feels a bit redundant, perhaps.
Well, you don't have maximum uptime on Ardent Sensor, so either it's going to be split across 2 people, or it means that in skirmishes they'll have Ardent Sensor. For Team fights, there may be some redundancy, like you mentioned, but just be giving it to himself, because on-hit Lulu was always a consideration, having more on-hit damage, more on-hit magic damage for Spirit's not a terrible idea. So it does have Janna and Lulu in the same comp without a solo lane, as Lulu skipping around causes everyone to be amused.
Yeah, just the fear in Ian when this like adorable little Yordle turns up to the lane. Oh, we better be scared.
But the one thing you can take away is that at least Afreeca understand they know where their bread is buttered. Kramer has been their star more often than not this season. He's had a wonderful season from AD carry, and now he will have everyone trying to help him, everyone rotating through his lane. Look, there's already 4 of them.
Yeah, Max already taking a fair bit of damage here as well. Kramer is going to prioritize trying to get the damage on top of him. Oh, it could have gone over to Kramer, but nope. Spirit wants to pick that one up. They're looking for another one as Maha was looking for it. Rocket jump, that's a full Goomba stomp. As ADD's trying to clean up, Spirit is exceptionally low. Doesn't have a flash, but he does have a shield. And Kled not going to survive. Oh, he almost does and does get a return kill, but there's the flash from Ian. Kramer over to the side. Seismic Shove doesn't find the goodness, but that's a double buff Tristana chasing after a Syndra that had a level advantage.
And even scarier, it's a 2-kill Tristana now, picking up the maximum value. There's Spirit. He's hyped in the booth. They took a big risk. Atlas, they probably did not want to show this until future matches. Something that he's been preparing in solo queue. But Game 5 is the time. You throw out the Joker cards. Some people call them hidden picks. Joker card is right when it's a Lulu jungle. And when you have Janna shield and Lulu shield, that early in the game, they pull off the dive expertly.
Well, Marin does need to be a little bit careful here. Has to flash out of the way of a barrel from beyond. So not so good, but at least ADD doesn't have his flash available as well. So not going to be punished too much for that one.
And the Relic Shield turns into a damn BF sword at 4 minutes.
Good God. And look at the long sword from Maha. I feel like they should have a name change to Little Sword for that one, because it just does not really look like much of a long item in the backpack of Maha right now, because Kramer is so big. His little cauldron cannon as well, it's adorable.
I know, have I introduced you to minion waves you can't come to? Hi, I'm double buff Tristana with a BF sword.
And I love that he got a kill with a rocket jump as well. That just looked fantastic.
Spirit is doing his supportive style. Bot lane.
Yeah, Dazzle going to come down onto Kramer, but he just flat out doesn't care. This auto attack damage.
Bot lane party.
Oh, I've seen this story before. It did not go well for MVP.
Who's going to start the dive? Let's see who takes aggro.
Well, Max.
Maybe Janna.
It's going to take a lot of damage. Kramer's going to pick up that kill. The rest of MVP a little bit slow, but they do make it down. Really great Howling Gale comes out from Tucson as they do even this one out. Oh, good dodge. Tucson actually navigating this Janna play fantastically well. Some question marks for his earlier play on other supports, but did look great in the Janna game and has turned it up once again. Marin going to get pulled back. Not having the most fantastic time against the Kled.
Not a fantastic matchup for Jarvan, but he does fine in it, and you have the all-in potential. I guess the all-in potential with Lulu is a little bit of a different thing to talk about, but the wild growth there for interrupts is useful. Marin knows what he has to do. He just needs to be Smeb-esque and choosing the right engages later, as Kramer's confident enough to walk up to beyond.
Now, replaces the control ward there as well as Kuro. Clears out this wave just fine. He's ahead by a few CS there as well. Double Doran's Ring going to be picked up as ADD taking a lot of damage from Spirit. He doesn't have a huge health bar, but that's the charge being brought out.
Does not work on charge, by the way.
Oh, that was cute. Kuro didn't pick the right direction, and ADD makes it out with an adorable little S.
Yeah, Spirit thought Polymorph would work, but Polymorph does not stop the charge, so ended up being a cooldown wasted, and you're right, the routing from Skull worked out very well. This goes back to lane. It's like, hey guys, what's going on here?
Yeah, I meant that. Totally meant that. It's fine.
But I like that it's Kramer focused. If you're going to go out as a Freak of Freaks, go on in a Kramer focused comp, because that's what's got you most of the advantages. Is on the Tristana, which is so much stronger. There was one criticism of the Twitch Janna Relic Shield strat. It's that Twitch is too weak a laner to make it work. It's too much tunneling on. Imagine how strong a Hurricane and Ardent Sensor Twitch will be. without just realizing you're just going to lose lane by a million CS. This time he's got the kills, so it's not necessarily going to be a great scientific experiment, but it is better in theory than what happened before.
I missed a cannon creep though, so I think it's all out the window. Kramer and Tucson now just going to shove out this wave, and it's going to be a steal. And happily take... Oh, he was so excited. Oh no. Whew, that was close. Ian does get it with the last remaining auto attack. HCS the lead for Kuro though as he heads back to base, understanding that I don't think he has a blue buff anymore. In fact, there was a control ward by the Afreeca Freecs, so they saw that one falling down.
Lulu was jungling on the top side, so there was really not going to be a realistic contest. Spirit, because he spent so much time ganking, is behind in experience, but just now pings level 6.
Right, double feathers being thrown out by Maha, and he's farming at range, utilizing his mana here just because he cannot approach this wave. It's going to get harder and harder as Kramer gets that passive stacking up with an Eye of the Storm as well. Oh my goodness, this is so frightening. A bit idle done from Tucson, so he's going straight towards the Ardent Sensor this time. Not going to be finishing off any Eye of the Oasis or anything like that.
The scariest thing to take away, Atlas, is that a Janna lane with a Relic Shield AD carry has entire control of where the waves are going. They can slow push, they can fast push, no ability for Maha and Max to walk up without significant jungle and top lane intervention. Having lane control as Relic Shield is a dream. It's the sort of thing that should happen 1 out of every 10 games. But when it's a 3-0-1 Stana, this is the 1 out of 10, and this is the must-win best of 1 for Afreeca Freecs to push forward.
Yep, so far it's been working fantastically well. Spirit Lulu, the initial gank, that was the one that paid off, and that was the one that he needed to pay off as well. The win conditions set up now for the Afreeca Freecs. MVP have won come from behind victories before, though. You cannot count them out when all's said and done. It was the clutch games that we saw them being able to win. Remember, their 4 matches that they won just before they lost against Ever 8 winners in their final match, they were all won very, very closely. This was MVP that had to work for every victory that they picked up.
And it wasn't any 4 teams. It was Samsung, Jinair, Afreeca, and BBQ. So you might put your nose up at the BBQ victory, but they beat the other 2 teams vying for 5th and Samsung in that run. So MVP did have a very impressive rise. Why? Them going down 3-0 was not an expectation of me pre-series. Looked likely after 2 games. Here's the gank.
Yep, ADD going to use the flash to get himself out of the way as Weaver's Wall was invested as well, maybe a little bit inopportunely.
Relying on an interrupt on the charge. That came through, but the flash was available.
Yep, not too bad. Okay, so Kramer clearing out some vision here as Kuro turns back up. Scout of the Week, thankfully, is going to get him off Ian, but still doing a fair bit of work. Is now Kramer in trouble. Didn't know which Yordle it was for a second there, as there was a big fat guy over the top. But MVP now finally with some space on this bottom side of the map.
Back to the now normal. Summon a spell heal. When we saw Tucson play Janna in an earlier game, wasn't running the heal, but this game it's going to be heal on the Janna. It was heal on the Draven from Kramer in game 1.
Yeah.
In the maximum value from the wind speakers on that healing.
Interesting. Kramer wanting to make sure that he has the cleanse. Understands that he's going to be the massive target and needs to get out of the CC wherever possible. Dazzle could be a problem. Other options, Bear Trap on a rope, I believe you can get out of. I'm not entirely sure how that one works, but cleanse flashes could come in.
I was trying to look for the Janna Goldly, but just missed it there. I imagine it's pretty significant, as you'd expect. Getting a Relic Shield procs and also being first to walk up to the minion wave. Max will miss some of them because they have no ability to take 2v2s.
And 4 assists, feeling pretty good as well. Now going to be able to go back and most likely pick up the Ardent Sensor, as that is a big shop. And that comes down very, very easily. And as soon as that was available, he picked it up. Oh God, Kramer. Zeal as well as the boots too picked up, and a luxury dagger. This is the dream for Tristana right now for the Afreeca Freecs.
No Ardent Sensor nerfs on patch 7.15 means that it is going to be a very formidable 2v2. Definitely proc that Taric ultimate early. Going to be necessary. Taric working on a rushed Ardent Sensor himself, but not the same gold income.
No. And thankfully there is another Executioner's Calling coming out from Maha very, very early on, calling the fact that Tucson is going to be picking up that Ardent Sensor, wanting to deny some of that, but Still, I'm not even all that sold on it, to be honest, because it puts your damage behind, and you can see these trades are always going to be going in the way, and you're not going to have that passive ability down, denying the healing. The Grievous Wounds aren't going to be there all the time. It's just a bit of a rough situation here for the bottom lane of MVP.
Kind of feels like when people buy Cull when they're behind, right? And you're like, well, this isn't going to be that helpful, but
sort of even conceding.
When you're against a Janna with Summoner Spell Heal, Wind Speakers, it's hard not to, but again, I don't know if they'll have the latitude because they're going to watch a turret go down. If Afreeca are on point with their macro, it's a bad decision by MVP. If they're not, then it can work very well. So we'll hold the point for now and revisit it later if the lack of damage from Maha ends up being a critical factor to hold back MVP.
I feel like Kuro is constantly trolling me, by the way, Papa. Always has that cheeky Sapphire Crystal. Just always has one. I don't even know what he's building it into.
He's putting it into a Lost Chapter, Atlas.
Yeah, well, I know that, but like, it looks like he's going for Liandry's Torment. It doesn't work, you know? It's frustrating. Anyway, it's fine. Still wants the Merlinomicon, so it does make sense. And Freecs going to grab themselves a Cloud Drake for free. Probably would have preferred a different one, but still absolutely fine. Spirit's going to lock that one down. They were going for a cheeky steal, but no joy in it this time. Max, of course, known to steal with things like Gleaming Quill from Rakan onto Barons and death sentences and all sorts of things, but can't quite get the Dazzle steal over the wall. Not even sure whether it has the range.
And all this is credit Spirit. The early gank, the smart pathing, the creative jungle choice. There is no other game where a Lulu Janna Tristana are taking no damage from a Drake and soloing it down with no contest, unless you get incredibly fed in the early game to allow it to happen. So credit where credit's due. They sub in the experienced jungler. He rolls the dice, but he rolls high. Sixes abound. That means they get the free Drake and they start stacking.
Yep, and now the backs are going to be coming in late. MVP a little bit late on the rotation to try and get their bottom lane towards the top side of the map. Ian will get himself a blue buff, but that is going to be the Tristana with some free time on the turret. And ADD needs to be extraordinarily careful. And that's always frightening to talk about when it's basically a 1v1. Tucson wasn't even really there, and still Kramer doing a heck of a lot of work. But now they make their way towards the turret. Maha and Max are going to get there in time.
Just give me some steps. They don't have the ability to face check to put down deep vision very easily. Lulu doesn't want to do that, doesn't want to have to use wild growth on herself if someone is lying in wait. So to actually pull off the turret destruction rotations, they do need a bit of a coordinated effort. Maybe just Kura popping up and putting a Weaver's Wall behind the turret to allow them to push. So without the vision, it becomes more risky and just slower for Tristana to take down these side lane turrets.
Yep, Spirit continuing to run his way through as he's got the Aether Wisp heading towards his Ardent Sensor as well. It's going to be a lot of sensory proficiency from this team this time around.
Maybe I won't be able to pull off my colorful language like before, so much censoring.
The censorship is crazy. Ian, we're going to need some censorship for this as, the wild growth is good. Spirit actually escaping his Kuro, looking for some more threaded volleys. Marin finds the Cataclysm, needs the auto attack and finds it. It's actually going to be the Tristana that locks down the kill onto Ian as ADD is being chased out by the Afreeca Freecs. Jumps off Skull, he's going to get destroyed. See you later, Cleddy boy, and that's a double kill for the Tristana. Massive Kramer now. As Max and Maha have to look on in horror as this juggernaut of a tiny, adorable Yordle is going to tear apart their base.
And Beyond might have to just throw the cast to stop the turret going down. He tries it.
He does it to knock Kuro away. That doesn't really do too much. Threaded Volley even going to punish him afterwards as the shield from the Eye of the Storm from Tucson doing so much work. The Windspeaker's blessing, man. I mean, that mastery is a bit silly sometimes, but also it's just an accelerated Janna.
Janna's the one champion who just never leaves her AD carry. Same thing for Soraka, I guess, but we never see Soraka in competitive in Korea. So you're able to get that maximum value from the heal, from the shield, from the Monsoon as well. So just able to roll in, take down another turret. Couldn't get the mid lane one. Top lane dies for free. Infinity Edge probably available on the next back. Things going swimmingly for Afreeca Freecs to stop the reverse sweep from MVP.
Yeah, and this sort of reverse sweep denial is not something that you see all that often. We mentioned it at the end of the last game, but often with momentum, a team can carry out the reverse sweep. It's why we talk about it all the time, that these are a possibility. But Afreeca Freecs have always proven that they're not a team that's based on momentum at all. It's not about that. It's about the fact that you get something different almost every time, and this time we got Spirit playing Lulu jungle and making it work to fantastic effect. Even Kramer just getting that one cheeky auto attack on Max, shredding his health bar into shreds, which is what happens when you shred something, but we're running out of adjectives this game.
There's a Ninja Tabi as the only armor item in the game, so you can tell that Kramer is an absolute god at 17 minutes in with 2 items and Ardent Sensor.
Seems like a poor choice, but I guess when you've got Cloud, he ain't going to be building armor just yet. Got his Titanic Hydra completed.
Put a bit of Tabby into Marin, but focused on the Titanic, like I say. That was some visual lag.
That was a bit odd. But Wild Growth goes down. It's a very large J4.
Kramer can't decide whether he should go for an auto attack or take red. He's getting both.
Yep, and see you later.
Couldn't get the camp just yet. There it is.
Hey, nice. I think we're talking about a red buff more than the fact that ADD just died.
Well, they're about the same level of difficulty to take, apparently, because he's...
Look at this, Kramer going for the gank, setting himself up with the body slam. Oh wait, no, that's a rocket jump.
Consider what the 2 people who will just literally stay within less than 500 units of the Chitana all-time provide Kramer. 2 shields, a speed up, knockbacks, 2 of them, healing. They are absolutely
CC.
The absolute best friends. We're seeing a Riot-produced cartoon coming through. These are the main 3 characters. Aimed at children.
It's basically the Powerpuff Girls.
Yep, pretty much.
Except Tusin's too tall. Damn. That was so close to being amazing. But ADD at least able to clear out this wave. Base not broken yet. Inner turret still remains in the mid lane and the top lane. But it's only 3 kills preventing a perfect game from MVP. As it's about an 8,000 gold lead. They had a great 2 games in a row, did MVP. Really looked like the draft was thought out well. Their red side drafting was fantastic, but Afreeca Freecs showing that we get red. We're able to do the same thing, and this was clever, and it was telegraphed very early. I mean, the Lulu was picked round 1.
Really? Telegraphed, you say?
Oh, yes, telegraphed.
They should have known.
Yeah, they should have known. Where else is the Lulu going to go?
All I'll say is, think about the fact that if Afreeca win, they've won 3 games. 2 of them very much prepared drafts. The Draven draft against Zac, prepared draft. This game, prepared draft. As, well, ADD, if he gets interrupted, he's going to be dead.
Yeah, and he got interrupted, so he's dead. Bear trap on a rope, but that is not the bear that you want to be trapping. Oh, you just need one more auto attack as Kramer is looking for it. Dazzle comes down, but Marin just being the front line here for this Kramer rocket launcher in the background. I know he's not Jinx, but still, it feels like rockets now coming out of that pellet shooter. The Dragon is once again going to be taken down. Afreeca Freecs back-to-back clouds into an ocean.
I just need to know how many prepared drafts they have at any one time, because game 3 and 4, they went back to the Nara comp. It just didn't work. It seemed stubborn from Afreeca compared to game 2 especially. Game 2 was the only game which was pretty standard. Game 1 and 5 is prepared drafts, but whoever their analyst is that's coming up with these prepared drafts, or whether it's just off the back of Spirit or Marin having a big say in the drafting, they're genius, honestly. It's a really cool draft, and this game is artificially impacted by the early level 1, so, or level 3, I guess I should say. So I imagine a revisit to the strategy will be needed to gauge how strong it is, but you can't help but look back and nod your head and say nice as an analyst, because it's creative, it has obvious synergies, and Lulu in the jungle is very capable. Even if it was an Elise, for example, she could be invaded on and killed.
Yeah. Oh my god, Kramer does so much damage. That was cute. Decides not to pursue anything beyond getting a bit of respect here as Max turns up to this lane, but it has to be Maha going back home. Ain't no options for him. No heal available, and no Featherstorm now either, so the protection just ain't there. And Kramer, look at how much he doesn't care. Aww. He was doing the cool guys don't look at explosions, but didn't quite work out. The Storm going to help out. Fortification or no? Doesn't seem to matter as Afreeca Freecs thinking about a Baron.
You know where the love forever moment is, Atlas? He never sold the Relic Shield. He never sold it. He's still giving gold over to his AD carry as he turns on Baron. Almost can solo at this point. They turn off it though.
That was a stupid amount of damage. Look at how much of a good time Kramer's having. This is the best game of my life. Having so much fun. And Spirit and Tucson are like standing underneath him, lifting up his carriage, you know, saying, "Yes, I understand. It's great fun for you." That was my I'm carrying something heavy sort of conversation. Of course, Kramer not heavy in that sense, but certainly is Tucson and Spirit that are helping out, making sure this Tristana is as huge as possible.
We'll go for the defensive choice with the Hex Drinker that almost seems unnecessary, but getting popped by Syndra is probably the only way that the fun time you were alluding to ends.
I believe he could just build a Warmogs now if he wants to.
Probably. Rageblade also. Why not?
Yeah, that would be the dream. Spirit wants it. Lots of pings going out from MVP. They know that this is Baron time. If it was MVP that were this far ahead, Baron would have been started ages ago. And they would have gone for that Smite War. Ward's being cleared. Freecs. They've got the 3 members that can take down the Baron. I believe that Kramer could probably almost tank it and then just get lines of shields. Afreeca have taken their foot off the gas just a little bit.
Solo Q pick from Spirit finally comes into competitive. The early game goes better than expected, and right now we're just looking at more kills being layered on mostly.
Yep, Ian also getting, oh my god, that Buster shot. Aptly named, and at the same time, the Kled is going to fall down on the other side of the map. Red buff is going to fall. Beyond is actually looking for the deliverance of Kramer, but Redemption comes down. It's like nothing happened as Maha needs to stand in the Cosmic Radiance. He does. It's the only way that they survive, but Beyond not going to survive for long enough. He gets destroyed halfway through the Weaver's Wall as Kuro comes in at exactly the right time. The Freecs had taken down the turret, but now with 3 members dead, one of them being the jungler, this looks like one of the freest Barons that we have seen so far. And we saw some pretty free Barons.
Kramer turns onto it. It explodes. No one can go near. Tark's not going to be face-checking. Baron to Afreeca. 10,000 gold lead at 20 minutes-ish. Gets up to a 13,000 gold lead with a Baron, if you don't mind. A couple of Drakes as well. He rolls in. Utterly unstoppable. Throws in a more Malmortius. And you know, you're right. He could have built whatever he wanted, but the best thing about the Maw and the Hex Drinker earlier is that it's time to start rocket jumping in at every opportunity, because he's not scared of anything.
Yep, look at that. Just throws the cleanse in there and then flashes on top of him. That was the most unnecessary use of the Buster shot, because I think that explosive shot was going to kill him regardless, but I still like it. Style points come down as Kuro finds the threaded volley onto ADD. He has to get the hell out. Freecs certainly got themselves set up to take down this game.
Here are the Powerpuff Girls again.
Hey, yeah. 009 in form of Janna. We won't tell him that he's the James Bond member of the Secret Service that often dies in the movies. Oh yes, 009 did not survive very, very well.
I'm biased towards 006. He's my favorite.
Alec Trevelyan, you like a bit of the scene bean?
I do.
Yeah, me too.
What is with you and words today?
What do you mean?
It's like it dropped on your head this morning.
Well, if you would pronounce it phonetically. I used to call it that when I was a kid and I liked it. Okay, Freecs going to start off what could be the last battle as the Wild Growth comes in. Everyone CC'd. ADD does find his way into the backline as Spirit's going to flash out of the way, but Kramer's the one we got to be looking out for, and he's just doing so much damage. Kuro gets the first kill, and it is going to be Beyond, and Redemption comes in. Everyone's healed back up. That is disgusting. As look at these Nexus turrets erupt under the fire of this Tristana. This is the Freecs turning around the reverse sweep from MVP, looking for their date with Samsung. They've got some interesting compositions, but look at these heals coming out from the Freecs. There is no engage that's going to work. Maha finds himself in entirely the wrong position. Everyone melts. The triple kill on the end for Kramer. See you later, Nexus, and welcome to the next round, Freecs.
Denied a reverse sweep 2 days ago. No reverse sweep either, although we go to Game 5. Freecs will probably be frustrated that they had to show both their ace cards, the Draven comp in Game 1, and then necessitated to bring out the Lulu jungle comp in Game 5. Will they have enough Atlases? They will have to run the entire gauntlet if they had to make it to Worlds. They do book a date with Samsung 2 days time from now. 5 p.m. Wednesday, we'll have that match. Didn't look on the cards, but this series was a true seesaw. After 2 games, the 3-0 looked as free as possible. After the next 2, it looked like MVP would vindicate their end of season form and actually make it to face Samsung. But a Lulu lock-in earlier, we wondered, MVP wondered, where's the Lulu going? I looked at the comp and said, well, actually makes sense for it given the players to be a Lulu jungle. It was, and it's a solo queue pick brought to life, and it works out.
Yeah. I was silly enough to think that Mara might play it on the top side of the map, but when question marks like that exist, you can understand that MVP aren't going to be able to figure it out until it's all too late. And the execution was what I wanted to talk about, Papa Smithy, because honestly, if Spirit hadn't have done exactly what he did, it could have been one of those situations where we're saying, why the heck would you pick the Lulu jungle? But instead, we're giving him the accolades that he deserves for turning around what could have been another reverse sweep here in the LCK for 2017 summer.
I think it preyed upon some of the shortcomings of MVP this series. The one thing they didn't do consistently was actually have good level 1 plans, Atlas. They were pretty poor. Only shallow vision, only looking for defensive bans. When you see a Lulu jungle, sure, she can be sustained, but she can't skirmish level 1, level 2. Needs probably level 3 to even be able to back away. They let her get a free level 3, went bot lane, and that pot was a surprise, sure, but it could have been stopped. It could have been lost in translation if they went for an actual contest earlier.
Yeah, and look at this. The game went for 26 minutes, guys, so you've seen larger numbers than this, but getting 22,000 damage out of a Tristana by 26 minutes into the game is pretty horrendously disgusting, and Max barely got 3 auto attacks off that game. 537 damage on the Taric is unfortunate, but honestly, those damage bars did not look very big for MVP.
Hey, the early kills came through. He couldn't even go and pick up his damn gold or mana sustain from his item, his support item, let alone get auto attacks in. He wasn't doing any damage. MVP season ends here, Atlas. We come on screen as we're about to rotate back. We don't have any interviews today, guys. We're going to power through straight to Wednesday with the matches. Interviews only come for the true winners, only come for the winners of KT Rolster versus X, but what a night. That was a crazy, crazy 4 hours of League of Legends.
Yeah, just impressive play out from both teams in the end, and I'm glad we got to see the power of MVP in games 3 and 4. But it's going to be the result. Afreeca Freecs turning around what could have been a potential reverse sweep, and now we'll go on to face Samsung on Wednesday. Could potentially then face KT Rolster on Saturday as well, being our final round. Expecting Samsung victory is something that you could understand, but you never know what is going to happen with the Afreeca Freecs. I personally want them in every game because honestly, you just get excitement every single time.
And here's what I'll say about Samsung. Everyone asks me who's going to Worlds. We know about SKT and Longzhu. I have no read on Samsung because a year ago, they rewrote history. They threw in new stuff. They prepared new champions, and they surprised everyone. They've been certainly playing the solo queue. I really don't know where they're going to be at when they face MVP.
Yeah, who knows? But, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back on Wednesday, and we'll see you then.